Hi there, and welcome to this special edition of the Eagle's Eye here on AUTV 20. I'm your host, Lewis Markham, and joining me today is senior student Brandon Gunder. Brandon, how are you today?
I'm peachy, Lewis. How are you?
Good, good.
Peachy.
So let's go back to the beginning here. And what made you decide to go to Ashland University?
So long story. I didn't know what I wanted to do coming out of high school. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't know. I think I was going to be doing journalism. Mm-hmm. We had a video game design class in high school, and so I'm like, let's do video game design. So I was originally going to go to Pittsburgh for Art Institute. Beautiful thing. It's like right by PNC Park in Pittsburgh, baseball stadium. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like an actual campus, and I mean, it's kind of far away, not too bad, but I wanted something closer to home. So, and my sister, my twin sister, went to AU. I took a gap year after high school. I graduated 2014 and took a gap year 2015. So I'm like, it's really right. At the time, I lived right like 2 seconds from campus. So I looked at what we offered. I love sports, so I decided, hey, I went down the list and it said sports comm. So I'm like, let's do it. And that's how we started in 2015. So
going off of that, how did you get into the JDM program then?
So it's like everybody's story here. Dave, good old Dave, Dave McCoy, our chair. So I think it was 2017. I think I was 2 years into sports comm. I think it was 2017. Mm-hmm. I don't remember how I actually ran into Dave, but he got me to switch. He took me on a tour through the old WRDL. I remember looking before we renovated it, because that was 2019, 2020 when we renovated WRDL. So, it was a beautiful. I love radio. I've always loved listening to radio, and like everybody here knows, I like to talk. Sometimes ramble. But I think it was a perfect match. I think sports comm is a good major, I think, but I think it's lacking what we have here in JDM. It doesn't have like the meat on its bones to what we have. Sports comm is good, but I think JDM is a bigger step to what I actually wanted to do after I switched from like video game stuff to now like I want to do journalism and radio. So I'm glad I switched. It was like probably one of the best decisions of my life.
Awesome. So you are a sixth-year senior.
Yes.
Why is that?
2015, like I was telling you previously, I was sports comm, and I was like, I think 2 years into that, I took a bunch of sports comm classes, so I was like already behind JDM. I switched in 2017, so I took a bunch of classes early on in 2017. That took a while I keep changing my major and my minor. First it was a major, then it was a minor. I think I was minoring in like PR, so I took a bunch of PR classes like halfway through. Then, I mean, I love PR. I love talking, and all the PR classes we have is kind of a connection with sports comm, because I was a major in sports comm, and then a PR minor. And then switching over to JDM, I switched it to, what did I switch it to? I think it was DMP first, and then DMJ. I think it was DMJ first, then DMP. Then I switched it again. So a bunch of switching and a bunch of changing, but no, 6 years. Wow. I think George Washington was here when I first came in, but 6 years has gone by pretty fast for like being here for a while. But made some awesome friends I'm gonna have for like forever. So
awesome. What kind of skills did you acquire here in the JDM program?
So for my first dip into, I didn't like hit the ground running in JDM. Like you really should, because you can come here as a freshman and get going. But I think it wasn't until I met probably my best friend, Steve Schrenkel, if you remember him.
Yep.
Graduated like a couple years ago. I met him in Dave's Video Aesthetics 1 with like the green styrofoam before we renovated it. And he was, I think, the weather director at the time for WRDL. And I started working for him and like doing weather sounders, like what we do now, like the 30-second weather sounders that we do every 4 times a day. So that was kind of my brief thing into like radio at the time. I didn't really do too much with the Collegian too much, although I did like the classes we did before. We had to write for a little bit for the Collegian. But mainly radio's my thing. Radio's been like really my saving thing, because TV, I did a little bit with TV. I did like a year into like 2018 when I started doing breaks and stuff, and slowly doing floor and teleprompter. I directed a couple times, but not much. But as soon as Schrenkel graduated, like a year and a half ago, I became the weather director at WRDL, and that was like a big thing. I got to sit in on meetings once Derek Wood, the GM of WRDL, allowed the weather director to be in the meetings. So weather director use Audition, Adobe Audition. That's like the main thing that people use, that employers want to use after graduation. That's like the premier thing. So I use Audition like almost every day except for like Saturday. I edit weather. So I mean, it's a good skill to have. Adobe Premiere, the Adobe Suite, basically, even though I can't really do Photoshop, I'm not really that great. But Audition, I'm pretty good at it. So I think Audition and other skills like talking on the mic. It's like doing early birds now. Last August, Derek offered me that with Nick Stupka. We've been doing that for a year now. So just that resume builder for early birds has been tremendous. It's allowed me to bolster my resume and talk with Nick, who's been a friend for a while. So it's been amazing.
Awesome, man. So wrapping up here, what are your plans for the future?
Nothing concrete right now. The new director of creative services, I've worked for Dusty Sloan, the SID for athletics here on campus. He's got a new director of creative services, Pat McGuire. He has been working for the Rubber Ducks the last like 4 years, I think. So he's had contacts with them, the AA affiliate of the Cleveland Guardians now, previously Indians. So hopefully I can see what he's got. I know a lot of us now have worked for the Rubber Ducks now. It seems like everybody's worked for them now. So hopefully I get in with them and maybe do PA or something like that. But Home Depot, I've been working there for the past like 4 years now. So it's a good fallback, this thing, so I have some steady income until I find something concrete. But like I think Katie said, life's your oyster, and plenty of time to figure something out in the summertime and down the line. So
awesome, man. So thank you so much for sitting down with me. It's been a pleasure, Brandon.
Thank you, Lewis.
That is all for this special edition of the Eagle's Eye. Be sure to follow us across all social media at AUTV20. I'm Lewis Markham, and we'll see you next time.